This course is all about description design. So what exactly is description design? When we talk about designing description, we are talking about designing the verbalized text, the words that are spoken aloud by a computer that provides information necessary for a non-visual experience. This involves designing text strings that are to be read aloud and the associated logic for which this information is to be read aloud. Luckily, there is a long history of description work we can look to for examples and guides. Some well-known examples of description include alternative text or alt text, which is short text descriptions provided for digital artwork, photos, and images on the web. Auditory description for live performances such as theater and opera, and for movies. While performers may be talking during these performances, hearing this information is often not enough to fully understand what's happening. So description is provided to support the non-visual experience of these performances. Video description, which is just what it sounds like, descriptions provided during viewing of a video, again to provide information needed for a non-visual experience. Each of these examples have widely used guidelines for crafting descriptions. These examples are all part of a bigger field of auditory display, which encompasses everything auditory in a designed experience. Auditory display includes non-speech sounds like music and sound effects, among other things, and also speech like description. In this course, we're going to focus on designing auditory description display, which is the text to be read aloud by a computer to provide information necessary for a non-visual experience. As we do demonstrations of FET sims, you'll hear non-speech auditory display as well. What all these media examples have in common is that the story, plot, and exact sequence of events is known in advance. This is very helpful for designing description. With interactive learning materials, we're not dealing with static or fixed streams of media. Each learner's experience may be unique when using an interactive. While the main representations in the interactive, the learning goals, and how you want or might want the learner to interact may be known in advance, learners follow different pathways as they experience the interactive. For example, this is the FET simulation, balloons and static electricity. In this simulation, there's a balloon, a sweater, and a wall. At first, each is shown with many pairs of positive and negative charges. We can grab the balloon and move it around, and if we rub it on the sweater, we'll pick up or transfer negative charges from the sweater onto the balloon, making the balloon negatively charged and the sweater positively charged. Now, if we move the balloon away from the sweater and let go, it will be attracted to and stick to the sweater. That's one thing a learner can do when they start using this interactive. If we reset the sim, we can explore a completely different interaction pathway. Let's grab the balloon and rub it against the wall. Okay, there's a rubbing sound, but nothing happens with the charges. Now I'll rub the balloon on the sweater and pick up some negative charges and bring it over to the wall again. Now the negative charges on the wall are repelled by the negative charges on the balloon, and as I move the balloon up and down the wall, the negative charges on the wall respond. If I let go of the balloon close to the wall, it is attracted to and sticks to the wall. Now learners can do either of these two things or many, many other things in any order. Things can get really complex. You can remove the wall, add a second balloon, and now there are two balloons available to interact with and respond to the net charge in the room. And you can change the representations by hiding the charges. And you can do many, many other things, and so on. In description design, we carefully consider what information to provide and how to provide it in a way that introduces the learner to the representations available to them, invites exploration, and supports understanding as the experience unfolds. regardless of what pathway the learner takes towards the learning goals. Creating good description design is an art. To do this, the description needs to provide all important details about the current state of the interactive and also provide important details about all relevant changes that happen as the learner takes action. And it needs to do this in a way that is always concise, understandable, useful, and independent of previous or future actions, all while keeping the learner engaged in their exploration and supporting their learning as they connect their interactions and the non-speech sounds and the descriptions they hear. For many interactives, this can be a real challenge, which is why we created the description design framework to guide us. It really helps with the design process. One last note, we'll be designing auditory description display to support non-visual access for blind learners. The resulting description can also be used to support learners with other disabilities, such as learning disabilities or cognitive impairments or low vision, and learners without disabilities at all. Throughout the course, we'll take the inclusive design approach, highlighting ways to design flexible and robust description, interactive description that meets the needs of non-visual learners while also capable of supporting other needs as well.